Welcome everyone to episode 2, lesson 2 of Mental Magic. What we're going to be doing is talking about the unexplained laws of nature and the abilities latent in mankind. That's what everybody wants, though. People are wanting to feel better, to feel good, to have the life they've dreamed of. And this is all very possible. You know it by the law of attraction, the law of assumption. Think and Grow Rich, all of those things are about this particular ability. And in the Theosophical teachings, that is the third objective, to investigate the hidden or unexplained laws of nature and the powers latent in man. On this channel, it was William Walker Atkinson's book, The 14 Lessons, when he's talking about psychic influence, the astral world. His texts still bring in a ton of you. You're coming in for these lessons. This is a book that he wrote that he says is his most important work, by his own admission in here. And it is about the secret of mental magic. So I thought we'd do a series on this where we read it together, we apply it together, and I explain some of my own personal experience, some of your success stories. This ability is very real. It's very real. But a lot of the law of attraction, law of assumption teachings, they stop at once you get this one transitory physical thing. They don't go further. What is the point of having this ability if we don't use it for the good of all? So my purpose in doing these is helping you to get whatever it is that you want to have the happiest and healthiest and most amazing life. And then once you are settled, you then can use this ability, which works, for the best interest of all. So we're going to go ahead and begin together. There is a book in the Living Theosophy bookshop. I'm so sorry, I'm going to have to turn on my fan. I hope that's not going to be prohibitively loud because it's hot. Anyway, there is a book in the Living Theosophy digital bookshop. If you want to download this, it's available for free. The link is down below. It is The Secret of Mental Magic. And these are not just teachings that have come up in the last few years. The Secret in 2006 really explained it. It came out into the commercial world. And then you'll see they talk about it's an ancient law. It is ancient. Is it? I think Atkinson says in here, it's 50 centuries of recorded history of mankind. There are also people using this ability right now for not so good things. It's being used by you right now. What you are seeing today is a manifestation of your thoughts and your emotions previously. Okay, so let's get to it. Let's go. Here we go. Okay. So let's get to it. Here we go. When you first hear that you have abilities that are beyond your 5 physical senses, beyond the physical world, beyond the 3D world, you see, taste, touch, hear, and smell. And then that's it. That's what we base everything on. But if you think about it, when they talked about little tiny, I don't know, bacteria that can make you sick that you can't see, there's millions of them floating around in the air. You thought that was crazy too. When they talked about electricity, you can't see that, but it's very real. All of these things, planets that are in the sky, 7 quintillion? Anyway, there are things that we don't know, that we can't observe with our 5 physical senses. So why should we dismiss this? It's a very real thing. It is our conditioning to dismiss it. It's our conditioning to dismiss imagination and say that it's just a by the way. It doesn't matter at all. But not only do you have the ability to bring your desires into fruition, okay, but also by doing this, you will find, and I find this the most refreshing, the most inspiring, the most life-changing part of the application of this ability is confidence, self-confidence, calm, peace, understanding, and purpose. It's just amazing. There's balance and harmony in there as well. So nature is the true church. You are the temple. You hear me talk about that all the time. And it basically also explains quantum physics. And alternate realities and all kinds of things that you may go, oh, that is ridiculous. Of course, you're going to say that because in the world of the 5 senses, in the physical world, we ask for physical proof and understanding from where we're coming from. There is so much more than what we are. Quantum physics, let's just explain it easily. Quantum physics, all right, is nature on an atomic level. This is energy and matter. This is the study of energy and matter. And I've got a definition down here that keeps me from going off. Okay, there's far more to reality than what we see. Physics is the science of energy and matter in the quantum realm. This is something really big that came out last century. They're starting to see that objects exist in probability. Okay, they exist in probability, and they come into focus when they are being observed by you, the observer. Who is it that is doing the observation? Is it your eyeballs? No, it isn't your eyeballs. Who's operating the eyeballs? Who's the owner of this particular brain or mind? Where does this awareness come from? What happens to that awareness when you're no longer in the physical world? Okay, all of these things can be explained in the teachings of Theosophy, and I'm going to be able to talk you through this because I want you to have the best life possible. Because once you have the best life possible for you, then you're going to be able to help others. How can you possibly do it? How can you help anyone if you are suffering, if you are longing, if you are wanting, if your mind is crowded with pain and agony? So when you change you, the circumstances around you will change. So when you come into a place of calm and peace and knowing, things around you change. It's a fact. Okay, so to investigate the unexplained laws of nature and the powers latent in mankind, latent simply means not developed or manifested yet. In this book, you can read along with me if you wish. Again, there is a link down below. It's completely free. Why am I doing this? Because I believe in the future of mankind. I am doing this as a labor of love to be of service to you because I have used this. It has changed my life, and you can actually see it here on the channel taking place. I believe it will help you as well. His basic statement in here, and I apologize, I will be reading some of this because I don't want to just be babbling at you. His basic statement is, there exists a universal dynamic principle of life, pervading all space, immanent in all things, manifesting in an infinite variety of forms and life and energy, force. And the essential inner nature of this universal principle is mind, all right? Not brain, mind. The energy or force of that principle is no respecter of persons. Now that means that you don't have to be a good person. You don't have to have good intentions. You don't have to be holier than thou and meditate in a cave, which is, by the way, who is that serving? Anybody? Okay, you don't have to meditate in a cave for 60 years to be able to earn the right to do this. Everybody has the ability to do this. You have the ability just as much as anybody who ever lived to do this. And you don't have to do it for good. And unfortunately, that's where black magic comes in. But remember, you reap what you sow, okay? So anyway, it doesn't matter who you are, all right? Its services are open to all, and it operates in response to the proper effort, no matter by whom it may be exerted. But the proper effort must be exerted, consciously or unconsciously, or else there will be no operation of these forces, the law. This won't happen unless it's done properly. So I'm going to walk you through this text so we know how Atkinson describes how to do it properly. And I wanted to tell you a story, as I do on these. So embarrassing. This is a very embarrassing story, but I didn't realize that at 15 years of age, I was doing this. It was intent and will of magnificent proportions. And I've debated on sharing this with you, but it came to fruition, and it is pure and simple intent, will, and manifestation. How do I do this? Okay. At 15 years of age, I saw a young man in a play, and he was at a neighboring school in California. And there was something about him. I just thought he was 2 years older than me in high school. And I just had the biggest crush on him ever. Ooh, okay, so I then, don't freak out, just enthusiasm. This is enthusiasm. I then had an I Love Jerry pen. And I just had a little crush on him. I kind of made it a little thing. I Love Jerry pens, and I Love Jerry book covers. It was just a little thing. And anyway, I really, really put my heart into it. It was all about this young man and the idea of him. And so for several years, that was my focus. And I realized that as it was really quite over the top, but I was just really zeroed in on him. And I had never met him before, but a couple years into this little crush, it got back to him, and we dated a little bit, and then, which was a huge deal. And then he went off to college, but I still held this torch. And for some reason, I just kind of kept this focus on him. And I would, talk about it with my friends. And he was kind of like a little rock star in my mind. He was a little rock star, but he didn't do anything to rock other than I had just chosen him. Anyway, it was a pretty big focus. And I just realigned all the time that it was him. It was him. It was him. And so finally I ended up dating someone else because I figured, well, maybe perhaps this wasn't meant to be. So I just set it to the side, but I still carried this torch. That didn't mean I gave up. I just set it to the side. And I dated another young man that happened to remind me of this fellow, but I was moving on with my life. But I always had this I love Jerry thing. And it was a really big deal. I mean, I'm not kidding. The whole school knew that I loved Jerry. It was really big. Really big. And I'm debating on how much to share with you because I want you to still be able to come back here and have some iota of respect for me as an individual. But I was young. And anyway, I was dating this young man, another young man, and we were at this event anyway in Los Angeles. And I turn around at this event and 3 rows back was Jer. There he sat. Remarkable. And I was like, oh my God. And I said to my boyfriend at the time, who is this sweetest person? He knew of my, I want to say obsession, but I'll have to say obsession, fascination. Let's say fascination, focus. Anyway, on Jer. And I was like, oh my God, Jer is here. And Jerry looked at me and I looked at him and I thought, oh my God, this is such a remarkable, there's no way in this arena at this college in Southern California with millions of people that he would be 3 rows back. He saw me with this other fellow and I left, I smiled at him and we left and he called me afterwards. And I thought it was always meant to be, asked me to marry him. And I'm positive that as a result of this intensive focus and will and concentration, I am editing that story for your benefit and for mine, but it's the truth. And anyway, I then realized there must be something to this particular will and intent and desire and never wavering and not worrying about the circumstances. There were so many things that took place that I did not lose my focus. Near the end there, what I did is I just set it down. I stopped worrying about it and thought, well, I still carry this, but I'm not going to make myself sick over it. And it came back out of all places in Southern California. There he sat in a film. It was my boyfriend at the time was studying film and Jerry was sports. Anyway, there was no way he was going to be there. He was 3 rows back. Just imagine what it was like when I turned around. And after I was 19, I was 20, about 20 years of age. So it'd been 5 years and I turned around and he's 3 rows behind me. I had placed that into the consciousness of all. And my subconscious, certainly, it was always repeated by my little crush, which was a big crush. They called it a crunch. Anyway, will and intent. You must think and feel like you are that, okay? So what I had done unknowingly is I had placed myself in that. And because of all of the repetition and the belief and focus, I had created that into being so much so this young man did ask me to marry him. And I married him. We'll leave it at that. Just gonna leave it at that. Okay. So let me ask you, what are you focusing on right now? Where are your thoughts at right now? What are you thinking about right now? I'm not still married to him. I was young, very young. Anyway, okay. What are you focusing on right now? What are your current thoughts? You're thinking about lack. You're thinking about I don't have this. You're thinking about worry. Be careful. Those are going to come to fruition. You will get like-minded thoughts. Remember, water finds its own level. Sorry, not like-minded thoughts, but like-minded situations will come into being because of those thoughts. So let's say like attracts like, period. So think about what you're focusing on right now. That's a little bit of homework. I want you to think about what you're focusing on. Are you thinking about Jer? Well, be careful. Anyway. Oh my God. Okay. The word man, meaning human being, comes from ancient Sanskrit. It does. Imagination, consciousness, thought, memory. The word man, what we are, not just gender, humans, okay, comes from Sanskrit meaning manas. Manas means mind. Our mind is who we are. We are our thoughts. We are part of this consciousness that is coming through in thought. Please don't dismiss your thoughts. Please don't dismiss your emotions. Everything is guided by them. Everything is a reflection of them. Everything is a mirror of you. All right. Anyway, the word man comes from Sanskrit, and it is manas, and it means emotion, consciousness, thinking, thought, imagination, memory, all of it. We are a result of all of that, of thought and thinking and consciousness. That's what we are. And we have the ability to change those and create any reality we wish. So in this book, let's get to this because we can read along together. You can download this text and apply these. I'm going to read this to you. I think it's imperative that we don't skip over. I was going to paraphrase, but I don't think I have the right to do that. I'm going to share with you my experience. Then I'm going to share with you the text. Then I want you to apply it yourself. I want you to know anything is possible. Anything is possible. That's what impossible means. What does it say? I'm possible. It's true. Okay. He writes, by mental magic, I mean all of the wonderful instances of the influence of one mind over another, as evidenced in thousands of different forms, degrees, and phases, whether in the form of personal magnetism or the subtle fascinating charm of one mind over another. That form of mental force that influences as if by an irresistible charm that bewitches, allures, charms, enchants, or attracts, or in what has been called fascination, in which one person is able to influence another in an uncontrollable manner. Sorry, so embarrassed. Okay. By exercising a powerful or irresistible influence upon his or her affections, emotions, passions, or thoughts, or in some of the other similar forces of the exercise of an unseen, inexplicable influence upon others, or in the phenomena known as hypnotism, mesmerism, psychologism, etc., etc. This is in the book. I'm reading from the book now, The Secret of Mental Magic. We're going to do this together, okay? And we're going to drive the boat. We're not going to just float all over the ocean and be blown about, because that's what people do when life happens to you. You're going to happen to life. You're going to take back the creative ability as you are the co-creator. You are the divine in your life. Use it. Use it. Okay. All right. With which are all more or less familiar. Phenomena, hypnotism, mesmerism. They're familiar. In the phenomena attendant upon the revival of the ancient occultism, now I'm going to take a note here. Occult simply means the unknown. At this time, it is not in the known. That's it. It doesn't necessarily have to mean dark arts or witchcraft. However, this can be used for witchcraft and dark arts. It is the abilities outside of what the mainstream knows or wants you to know. Okay? Occult does not mean ominous. It doesn't. All right? It can, but it doesn't mean that in its whole. It's just unknown. So now we're going to make it known. Okay. In the last 20 years, under various names and forms, the fundamental principle of which consists in forms of mental treatments of one kind or another, present or absent in the phenomena of what has been called suggestion. All right, these are like affirmations. We're going to get to those, of which we hear so much in scientific circles or in the various forms of mind or faith cures, of which so much has been heard of in and upon a bunch of religious religions, or cults have been built. Okay, or in the repulsive forms of mental influence known as witchcraft, voodooism, black magic, etc., etc. So let's repeat that again, because I stumbled over the last bit there. Religious religions from the Redundancy Department of Redundancy Department. Okay. Anyway, or in the various forms of mind or faith cures, of which so much has heard of late years. This book was written 120 years ago, and upon which a number of religions and cults have been built. It's not a good thing. Organized religion divides cults. Come on. All right, come on. You don't have to follow anybody. This is all about you. It all takes place inside you anyway. It's not about me. It's not about Atkinson. It's not about Blavatsky. It's about you. These teachings are meant to be used by you for good, okay? And it also is what is the basis behind witchcraft, voodoo, black magic, etc. Please be aware that if you use them for harmful means or selfish means where you are doing harm, it will come back to you, period. It's true. All right. Here we go. Where'd it go? All right. We all have the same fundamental principle and manifestation of some phase of the general phenomena of mental magic. The same cause is under all its manifestations, for good or bad, black or white. I'm going to emphasize this here. It is all the operation of one great law, principle, or nature. No matter what you call it. You can call it black magic. You can call it the law of attraction, the law of assumption. You can call it positive thinking. You can call it mesmerism. All of it is under the law, a principle of nature. I say just like the law of gravity, all of us use it. It happens to all of us. It affects everything, right? Everything is affected by it. It is a law and it's real. And it's not supposed to be classified under airy-fairy metaphysical BS because it's very real. And I want to teach you here how Atkinson teaches you. I want to share these teachings with you, I should say, because I'm still practicing and learning myself. I realize I've done it accidentally. I've done it purposefully. I'd like to channel this into a healthy way of doing it purposefully. So I'm going to do it with you. Okay. It is all under that operation of the great law or principle of nature. We're going to keep reading the book together. Calm down. Mysterious mental influencing power. We see on all sides men who seem to exert a wonderful and mysterious mental influence on others. You've met them, upon those associated with them or upon the public mind. Leaders spring into prominence, apparently owing their power to some mysterious influence over the minds and wills of others. Some attain power and position, others attain wealth and social state by some reason of an inner force. When we meet certain people, we become at once impressed by a something about them that makes its power and influence felt by us. They seem to radiate a peculiar force that bends our will captive. Surely you know someone like that. I know there's celebrities. You see, there are many celebrities that have this, what they call, I don't know, magnetism. Personal magnetism, and causes us to fall in line with their desires. Cult leaders are very good at this personal magnetism and this confidence that they carry to do harm. It is not okay. No cult of any sort is okay at all. You don't have to follow anybody. You don't have to do anything. It's not about anybody else. It's about you. All right. But there are people who are this comes naturally to them, and you will see them. Just watch the news. All right. We know that when some people enter a room, they bring with them an indefinable influence that becomes apparent to all. Ta-da! Here they are. Everybody just looks at them. They have what they call, what did my teacher called it? Is it star power or star ability? They just stage presence. Okay. That becomes apparent to all. Certain houses and stores have atmospheres of their own, which are perceptible to those entering them. Some places are depressing to all who live in them. Some salesmen impart a sense of confidence and trust at once. Who is the guy? Is it Zig Ziglar? He talks about this stuff. Dottie Walters, Speak and Grow Rich. They're teaching you this ability to be able to apply it in your business. Okay, you can use for anything. Anyway, some salesmen impart a sense of confidence and trust at once, while others cause the reverse. When you're feeling insecure, you're not feeling confident, you don't want to buy this, do you? I didn't think so, I'm going to leave. Or this is the best thing that ever happened to you, let's go. Okay, seriously, pay attention. You're seeing this all the time. Let's look at it and call it what it is. Some people just some people seem to have a way of influencing the minds of others with whom they come in contact so that these others will rally around the self-constituted leader, and thus cults, religions, and isms are formed. I'm hoping that we will evolve. I do believe we will evolve past idolatry of individuals, especially here in the Theosophical circles. It's not about Blavatsky, for God's sake. By her own admission, she wrote down these teachings, just like Atkinson did. He wrote them down. These are ancient and timeless. I appreciate what she's done, but it isn't about her, the individual, period. It's not. Okay, we all know how far a strong magnetic leader may carry his followers. We have seen many instances of it during the past few years. People have followed some of these leaders like a flock of sheep, and they will always do so. They will always do so. This, I believe, is human. It's human condition. It's the human condition. It's not going to change. I get frustrated with it all the time. I go, why? This is still happening. It's not going to change, but you can change. You can change. People have followed some of these leaders like a flock of sheep, and they will always do so until the underlying principle is understood and people protect themselves. And of all these things to form part of the phenomena of mental magic, surely the subject is worth investigating. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to investigate the way that he teaches it. We're going to understand that this is an ancient law of absolute certainty. We're going to go ahead and get you to pay attention to. The homework today is about, what are you thinking about right now? What are you thinking about right now? That's going to come to fruition. It's true, especially when it's a repeated thought. I'm worried about that bill. I'm not going to be able to pay that bill. This person's mad at me. Da 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 da. We're going to have this big drama. You got to pay attention to your thoughts and emotions. They are the navigators of your life. You are creating your world right now. Others are out there using this ability for control, greed, and selfishness, and to instill fear and domination. Why don't you use it for good? You have the ability to do so. This is the episode number 2. Where are we? Number 2. I kind of did 1 in the beginning. I'm going to do more. I believe in this. I believe in you. The Secret of Mental Magic. Get your copy down below. It's free. It's a downloadable PDF. It's not a big deal. I'm not making any money on this. I believe that once you get a hold of these, you improve your life. You're then going to be able to use this ability to improve bigger issues, more than just a red sports car or a boyfriend. More than that. I believe, not that there's anything wrong with that. If you want to do that, if that's what's going to make you happy, when you're happy and content and you're not worried about anything, you're free to do work for more, not just you. And I believe there are people out there that will do just this. I love you. Thank you for being here. I'll see you soon. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of the video. If you would, please click like, subscribe, and share. If you liked it, if you'd like to share it, please do. If you want to subscribe and you haven't already, please do. Thank you. It helps get the teachings out to where they need to be. Thank you.